brokenness.
Timing of you mentioning it, which is why I joined.
Oh, really? Your brokenness is welcome here. All right. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukhakaroti Vachalam Pangoram Gayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namini Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayini Gaurakata Damadaya Nagara Gramatarine Namom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I have a presentation and here it is. So this has been a topic that we have touched upon, but we haven't gone into depth as much as we're going to go into it today. You know, there is a t-shirt, your brokenness is welcome here. Okay, I don't know how you're able to see the screen. I don't know if it's exactly how I want you to see it. Okay, can you see the full screen? Yes, okay. So sometimes we feel like this, and that's exactly how Arjuna was feeling. And he said, like, I don't want to fight. I don't want the kingdom. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And I said, what is the meaning of brokenness? And then this is what comes up when you search. A state of strong emotional, pain. Actually, somebody needs to read it because when I do it, everything comes, I can't read the whole page. Somebody, can you read it, please? Thank you.
A state of strong emotional pain that stops someone from living a normal or healthy life. I acknowledge my brokenness and my need for healing.
So the truth is we are all broken in one or another aspect, one or another level, and it's all right. It's okay to have that sense of brokenness. And so today we're going to look at why it is okay. I think I have that part. Yeah, we are all a little broken and it's okay. Okay, this is something we need to tell ourselves. Why is that brokenness okay? In what context is it okay? Actually, in the spiritual context, it is okay, not in the material context. Because the material context of brokenness is somebody who becomes total addict, cannot live without a drink or drugs, or that's the material sense of brokenness. But even those people can get so broken that even the drug doesn't give them any more escape. And that's when they completely break down. So they say, brokenness is the key to maturity in God. Obviously, instead of just saying it, I just took these pictures which were representing the points I wanted to make. So the pictures are just certain quotes that I want to our discussion today to open up. I heard this beautiful lecture by Radhanath Swami about 12th step and addiction. And he said, you guys are either like the most unfortunate, most broken people that have completely no hope, or you are the most fortunate. And then he goes on to explain why those people who are addicts can become the most fortunate. And then he explains about Draupadi's situation where, she was broken. Her trust was broken. Her dignity was breaking down. Her faith was breaking down. Her sense of identity was in crisis. I mean, she was the empress of the universe, for God's sake. She wasn't just some random corporate woman who was knocked off her position, and told, no, you won't be given promotion. She was the empress, and she was harassed and abused and molested in the most unimaginable, unthinkable ways. But her brokenness became the key for her connection, which even Pandavas, their brokenness, it was like they were not as broken as Draupadi. So, Radhanath Swami gives that example of, in that lecture, I will post it in our Krishna Connection group, that class. It's actually on the Spotify, the podcast. He explains how Draupadi's state of brokenness pushed her to that level of maturity, to that level of surrender. So God's power is best released through our brokenness. And this is a very hard thing for us, even as devotees. It's very hard for us to even accept that I'm broken. We are usually wearing masks and going around trying to say, no, I'm not so broken. I actually am managing somehow. It's not so bad. We keep doing that. And the real recovery, or the real Gita Gyan, can open itself to us only when we can actually embrace that. And that's why when we embrace that powerlessness, when we embrace it, just like Arjuna did, complete sense of surrender, that's when Krishna can do his best work upon us. And it's a culture. It's a culture of vulnerability. It's a culture of honesty. It's a culture of honesty, culture of vulnerability, culture of humility, and culture of, the last point or theme of today would be about to not lie to ourselves. That's essentially what it is. We can be beautifully broken if we stop lying to ourselves. That's the hardest part. So Arjuna's state was like this. They can't break me. I'm already broken. Okay. So when nothing else can break us, when we are at that point, like nothing else can hurt me because I'm so hurt, that's when Krishna says all those things he told Arjuna. That's the readiness. That's the willingness. Okay. And and then one more here. I'm basically reiterating the same point here, that Krishna can turn broken pieces into masterpieces. And to be able to do that, what is it? It says something like, where is that? I don't know. I have so many. Yeah. Broken things can become blessed things if you let Krishna do the mending. Because when we try to fix it, you know what happens, right? we make it really worse. But when we accept, okay, I'm broken, it's beautiful. Okay, then this part here. Yeah, I had posted this on the group also. My brokenness is, what does it say there? I'm sorry, I can't read that because I'm
better bridge for people than my pretend wholeness ever was.
This, I must say, I'm a proof about that in my own life. As long as I was like, even I remember when I used to give Bhagavatam classes, I used to really struggle to keep that mask on and pretend to be something I am not. I still do that, but I'm more aware of it. But the more I was trying to do that, I was frustrating myself, and I was just creating more and more stress and pressure for myself. But it's interesting that when I felt broken and I said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to hold this thing together anymore. And I'm going to just show it to people around me that I am broken. And then I started these support groups. And even yesterday in the meeting, I expressed in the Sunday meeting, the day before yesterday meeting, how I realized that even the parts of me which was very vulnerable, very imperfect, very weak, very fragile, pained, hurt, those were the parts that actually helped me to create these support groups. Those were the parts that pushed me to understand what it means to create nourishment amongst women. And as much as it sucks to have that weakness, I can see this in my life, that my brokenness and me embracing that brokenness, that's what becomes a bridge. And then I saw that you all, with all of your acceptance and your, your genuine, sincere desire for spiritual progress, you embraced me, you accepted me. And, in these Sunday meetings, I can be myself. I can honestly express the challenges I'm going through, whatever it is, anger, frustration, jealousy, guilt. I can express it, and it's so beautiful. And in fact, I got Gauranga Prabhu wrote me about the ILS, because first I heard they're only selecting certain people, and I'd never applied or anything. He wrote me personally saying, would you like to present a seminar for the ILS? And this was a topic that came to my mind, to create that sense of, to deal with our brokenness, basically, to create support groups such as, Krishna Connection and the Friday meetings that we do, where it's confidential, it's not recorded, it's a live meeting, and we process it. So that becomes a bridge to help other people. And in this context, there's a third step prayer. Krishna, I offer myself to thee to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Remove my difficulties, so the victory over them may bear witness to those I would help, of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. So that has been my meditation. Like, may me facing my challenges be an inspiration to others to have more faith in you, to love you more, and to trust you more. So that's the point of today, that the real hope of living beyond our brokenness is to reach out to others with our authenticity, reach out to those who are broken, and through us, the energy will flow. And while we are serving others, we also get fixed. Okay, so that's the idea. The broken things can become blessed things if you let Krishna do the mending. Can somebody read that, please?
The best way to heal a broken heart is to give God all the pieces.
Yeah. Again, we have to stop lying to ourselves about that. Like, we have to stop lying that, no, I got this together, Krishna. It's okay, Krishna, don't worry. That's exactly what Yudhishthira did. It's okay. No, let's not bother Krishna. This time, I can't lose Arjuna, let me try. Oh my God, I lost Arjuna. Okay, let me try Bhima, this time I won't lose. No, we don't. No, but Draupadi, she gave all the broken pieces. That's what it is. And even in the history, in Srimad Bhagavatam, in Christianity, a lot of examples are there. In so many other sampradayas also, Krishna uses broken people to lead others. And Arjuna was such a person. He was a broken leader. I mean, he was not a broken leader. Sorry, he was a broken soldier or warrior, and Krishna used him to lead humanity towards the path of truth, towards the path of self-realization. So leadership doesn't mean that we show the best of ourselves and hide our weaknesses. Actually, true leadership is in the courage to be vulnerable, the courage to explore our weaknesses. And you may say, no, but that doesn't work like that in the corporate world, right? I'm talking about the corporate of Krishna. In order for us to have a relationship with him, we need that authenticity. So yes, Krishna can use our weakness to lead. And that gives me hope, actually. So I like this part. If somebody can read this, it's very poetic. Yamuna, you can read it with dramatic emphasis.
God uses broken things beautifully. Broken clouds pour rain. Broken soil sets as fields. Broken crop yield seeds. Broken seeds give life to new plants. So when you feel you're broken, be rest assured that God is planning to utilize you for something great.
Beautiful. I'd like you to take a moment and read this and visualize this. And compare yourselves also to these different beautiful natural aspects of life. And just place that faith and hope. Sometimes we think that my mistakes and my flaws are so big for Krishna to handle it. Sometimes we think we're so broken that even Krishna cannot fix me. But only because of our brokenness can Krishna actually do anything with us. Okay, this is another thought. Maybe Yamuna, you can read that as well.
Our God is an expert at dealing with chaos, with brokenness, with all the worst that we can imagine. God created order out of disorder, cosmos out of chaos, and God can do so always. And do so now in our personal lives and in our lives as nations, globally indeed. God is transforming the world now through us because God loves us.
God, Krishna is transforming the world now through us because he loves us. So without that brokenness, we don't even experience. So that's what means finding beauty in the brokenness, okay? The beauty is in wanting Krishna's hand on our life and allowing Krishna to transform us. Okay, that's something, and the rest I have is not directly connected unless some questions come up about the topic we've discussed so far. Okay, we can pause here. Any thoughts, any questions? Anything that comes up for you?
I don't have a question directly, but I do have a realization I had while you were sharing that although there are times when I know that I'm helpless, there are times when I know there's not much in my control, which is rarely, even though I think it is. I lack the willingness or the awareness that this is the time I need to turn to Krishna and let him help me, or to ask him to help, or to fix the broken pieces. And I think that is something that happens very often.
Beautiful. But what is your, I mean, I'm just exploring when we pray to Krishna to fix our brokenness, what is our motivation? Why do we want to be fixed?
I think my general prayer normally is to be able to become the kind of devotee disciple or the different roles that he would like for me to play in my journey. To just have the wisdom and courage to become that person.
Beautiful. Yeah. And what is his mission? Krishna's mission is that we help others. That's his mission. So again, the third step prayer, right? To give us the strength to do his will, to do his mission. Yeah. Any other prayer comes to your mind?
It's either that or that I don't crash and I wait till I can see his hand in whatever he has planned. Because there are times when, again, there are two ways I can see it right now as I'm hearing you. That either I'm helpless and I turn to him, or I'm helpless and I start questioning all the why and I start crippling. So on one side, when I am in my balance, I'm normally just praying to be able to see his hand in those plans, to just wait and let him manifest things that he's trying to. Or I'm just crippling. So I think it's about the balance or where I am on the spectrum on that day.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so difficult to choose Krishna over the cribbing. It's very easy for me to go into the, no, but this, but that. And I don't know, there's some sort of tamasic pleasure in it.
I remember something Satyananda Maharaj said in one of his lectures I heard a while back. If you ever see yourself turning away from Krishna, even when you know you have exhausted all your options, that is a reminder for you to know how independent you want to be of him.
Say that again. Say that again.
He said every single time you see yourself turning away from Krishna or not choosing him, even when you have exhausted all of your options, that is a reminder for you that how independent you wish to be of him and how far away you're standing from him, although he's just waiting for you to give him a shout.
Yeah. Well, I guess that was the class when Radhanath Swami was saying, you can be the most fortunate because you guys have run out of all options. He was speaking to the addicts, the alcohol anonymous group, because these people usually, they've lost their jobs, they've lost their relationships, they've lost everything, they lost their homes, they really messed up their life. And literally they've run out of all the options. They have really nothing else left. So they have that option to hang on to Krishna, to hold on to Krishna, like there's literally nothing else. But for other situations, it may be harder because we are not yet that broken. So that's why they say there is no rule that you have to be completely broken, but the big book is the original, 12-step book. And in that it says that the more a person has become hopeless, helpless, the better for this path, because this path of 12 steps is nothing to do with us. It's about allowing God. So the first step is all about that powerlessness.
I'm just realizing that, is it really about not being broken to the same extent? Or in my case, is it that I'm not broken in the way that is my biggest weakness or my biggest vulnerability? Because as long as I can pretend to be whole, since that is my biggest insecurity, that people can see through my struggles, unless they're able to see it or my failures are public, I might not turn to Krishna very easily, because I can still pretend that I'm doing okay or I'm afloat.
Okay, I think now is the time to show you the other slides. Lying to ourselves slides. Okay. Mm-hmm. That. That part, right? Like not wanting to really take a look at myself, but running away from that. not wanting to go into that depth. Yeah, even today I was doing an outreach call, and then I was saying this point that I know I'm an illusion. I know I'm in the darkness, and I'm choosing to be there because I don't want to do this. I don't want to take a look at reality. And what was that? Yeah, stop lying to yourself. And then there is this list that I had. This is from one of the previous presentations, but they're very relevant to the today's topic as well. Oops. What does it say here? You're lying to yourself. Okay. So these are the signs. Yamuna, I want to read it.
You feel like you're running away from something. You keep justifying other people's behavior. You keep justifying your behavior even when you know it's wrong. You have a rigid and narrow-minded attitude. You feel inauthentic and you don't know what makes you happy anymore. You prefer to wear rose-tinted glasses and live in a dream world rather than in reality. You don't like listening to others' advice and often lash out at them. You carry around deeply rooted anxiety. Your heart contradicts your mind and is constantly battling with each other.
So, these are things that we only can look at ourselves and figure it out. Are we running? Sometimes for me, this is true about running away from something, just like for Arjuna, right? He was trying to run away from responsibility. He was running away from his duties because it was painful. Sometimes it is like that with our lives too. We don't want to go there. We don't want to discover wounds. Actually, for women, it's often about wounds. Maybe as children, we were not taken care or whatever. We don't want to go there. We don't want to look at that. We want to run away from the wounds that we have. And then we try to do all those next things that it says there. Justifying, blaming, shaming. Yeah. Anybody else has any other questions about lying to yourself? Something else here. Okay, that's the opposite. What does it mean to be authentic with yourself? That's another.
What happens when your love of truth becomes more important to you than what other things think of you?
No, like you were saying, sometimes it has to happen that you can't hide. Like they say, you can hide from there, you can hide from there. At one point, you can't hide from yourself anymore. We have to face ourselves. That's what means brokenness. That's when it means when we are fully broken, we are unable to face ourselves. And then we are like, no, the authenticity comes up and like, yeah, I am blaming the other person all the time, but you know what? My side of the road is not clean either. I have character defects. Yes, the other person may have done 3 times worse than what I have done, but still I also have my part, right? So when we can see that brokenness, then we are ready, like Arjuna, to say, really, like how Arjuna said, I'm going to follow Shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. He became the disciple of Krishna. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else has something to share? I'll take a look at those. So these are some points that I wanted to share. So brokenness is not a bad thing. Beautifully broken, that's where Krishna does his best work. So let us all embrace the fact that we are beautifully broken and allow Krishna to work on us. And we don't have to be perfect in order to help others. In the process of helping, Krishna will work through us and fix us if he wants, of course. Because we have to learn our lessons, right? Sometimes we don't want to do the hard work of learning the lessons. We want somebody else to do it for us. So as women, sometimes we may wait for that guy on the white horse to come. We want our husbands to fix it for us, our boyfriends to fix it for us, our mentors to fix it for us, right? We expect our superiors to be perfect so that, we can blame them. So it's always, for women, it's always like easy kind of thing to blame the husband or blame the teacher or whoever. But taking that responsibility. I mean, these are very deep points, okay? So this requires discussion, this requires meditation, contemplation, introspection. So I'm going to leave it at that. And if you